Okay, part 2 of Federalist 33, and going to start with the third paragraph. What is a power but the ability or faculty of doing a thing? What is the ability to do a thing but the power of employing the means necessary to its execution? What is a legislative power but a power of making laws? What are the means to execute a legislative power but laws? What is the power of laying and collecting taxes but a legislative power, or a power of making laws to lay and collect taxes? What are the proper means of executing such a power but necessary and proper laws? See, he's saying all of these because he wants to tell anti-federalists that we have a constitution, we frame a government, we establish a government, and we give it authority to do certain things. And when you give it the authority to do certain things, it has to have the necessary and proper laws to back it up. Because you give it a responsibility, and you don't want to tie the government's hands or tie its feet and then ask them to go do this thing. So he says, we are giving it enough power to get its job done. But the most important thing is, keep on remembering this. When you're talking about laws, this is a law that they're complaining that the federal government will, by writing laws, it will slowly take the rights of the states away, the authority of the states away. But he wants to say, well, who are these people who are making the laws? These are the people you have represented. And if you don't like what they're doing, if they overstep their bounds, just throw them out and elect people that will listen to you, listen carefully, and will not write laws that you do not like. So at the end of the day, it says it's the Congress you're talking about. And Congress is made up of members of the House of Representatives and senators. And you elect them. You elect the House of Representatives directly, and your state legislatures, which are elected by you, elect the senators. So you can directly remove these members of the House of Representatives by voting them out of office the next time comes around. So it says it's not like you are totally powerless. Okay, I'll read the paragraph. This simple train of inquiry furnishes us at once with a test of the true nature of the clause complained of. It conducts us to this palpable truth that a power to lay and collect taxes must be a power to pass all laws necessary and proper for the execution of that power. And what does the unfortunate and calumniated provision in question do more than declare the same truth, to wit, that the national legislature, to whom the power of laying and collecting taxes had been previously given, might, in the execution of that power, pass all laws necessary and proper to carry it into effect. I have applied these observations thus particularly to the power of taxation because it's the immediate subject under consideration and because it is the most important of the authorities proposed to be conferred upon the Union. But the same process will lead to the same result in relation to all other powers declared in the Constitution. And it's expressly to execute these powers that the sweeping clause, as it has been affectedly called, authorizes the national legislature to pass all necessary and proper laws. So they're calling this the sweeping clause. That's the last clause of Section 2 of Article 8. I'm sorry, the last clause of Section 8 of Article 1 that they're calling a sweeping clause. It covers everything. It's going to take all our rights away. It says it won't, because it can only do certain things to get the government to be able to do its job. Remember, they use the word vigor and energy. It means a government with ability to get its job done. It doesn't mean that it is going to be, the federal government is going to overreach and do away with state laws. Then he continues, if there be anything exceptionable, it must be sought for in the specific powers upon which this general declaration is predicated. The declaration itself, though it may be chargeable with tautology and redundancy, is at least perfectly harmless. But suspicion may ask, why then was it introduced? The answer is that it could only have been done for greater caution and to guard against all cavilling refinements in those who might hereafter feel a disposition to curtail and evade the legitimate authorities of the Union. The Convention probably foresaw what it has been a principal aim of these papers to inculcate, that the danger which most threatens our political welfare is that the state governments will finally sap the foundation of the Union, and might therefore think it necessary in so cardinal a point to leave nothing to construction. Whatever may have been the inducement to it, the wisdom of the precaution is evident from the cry which has been raised against it, as that very cry betrays a disposition to question the great and essential truth which it is manifestly the object of that provision to declare. So to those people who criticize why was this sweeping clause, this last clause of Section 8 of Article 1 was written, is because, as you can see, people are already criticizing it because the people who went to the Philadelphia Convention had experience in state governments, and they knew that if they did not put this clause in the Constitution, state governments would disrespect the national government. Again, we would be in the same place we were during the Revolutionary War. The national government would have to beg for money and different things from the states, and states will not really support the national government. So he says, we're doing this, we've done this, the convention has done this because the convention has had experience with how bad things are done in the states. We'll continue in the next video.